What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to uh, something I was not expecting to do, talking about goalkeeping transfers this summer, because I was not planning to do it last season, and we end up doing it because we moved out Chesney to get Di Gregorio. And here we are again, not even a year after, looking to potentially move on Di Gregorio, excuse me, to bring in Gigio Donnarumma this summer. That's one of the few latest updates. And funnily enough, there's also an update on Perin. So the goalkeeping saga at this club continues, and the big question is it really needed to focus on, well, changing the goalkeeping situation yet again when we have so many other situations at this club, or potential situations that we need to address, when it comes to center backs, attackers, etc. Do we really need to talk about getting in another goalkeeper, excuse me? That's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to go through a few of our of the latest updates before we wrap this one up. Obviously not now, but we will talk about it. Before we get into it, as always, smash the like button. People are doing it, and it's helping out the channel massively, so appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. Now, as I've said so many times, I'll read the comments in a second. I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is I get up and I open the newspapers, all three of them: Tuttosport, Gazzetta, and Corriere. And I don't really read in depth. I just scroll through the pages really quickly. I scan the pages, and then I leave for work. And at work, when I have some free time, spare time, whatever, when work allows it, basically, I read the articles in more in depth. Now, today, it's the first time I didn't do that in a very long time. I opened the newspaper, and I saw something from Gigio, but it was in the Gazzetta Sport, a very small article, not a lot of information to it. So I was like, weird. So I go on social media, nothing until I came to work, and I saw Giovanni Albanese's tweet, also working for Gazzetta dello Sport. And this is what he had to say: that Juve are quietly, well, not so quietly, because he knows, making moves for Gigio Donnarumma. The club is aiming to boost the number of Italian players in the squad, and a summer departure for Donnarumma cannot be ruled out. Talks have gone beyond simple interest. There are concrete developments. Juve are no longer just monitoring the situation. They are actively working to bring the goalkeeper back to Italy in black and white. And Donnarumma himself is said so to be keen on joining Juve. Premier League clubs are also interested in Di Gregorio. Now, a lot of things to go off, from contract situations and all those things. Now, the first thing that caught my eye was the part where it says the club is trying to boost the number of Italian players. And I scratched my head. I was like, we're trying to replace an Italian player by an Italian. It's going back to yesterday's live where we talked about, building an Italian spine, bringing more Italian players into... what the hell is this? Okay, bringing more Italian players into the team, and it's all good. If you add quality and they're Italian, fantastic, even better. But not once was I expecting that we needed to replace the Italian quality we already have in the squad with other Italian quality, because this is not a midfield. This is not, you have Locatelli, but you also want to add Tonali. They can play together. You play with three midfielders, whatever. This is about a position. There's only one. There's only one goalkeeper. There's only one number one, and maybe the other guy plays a couple of games in the Coppa Italia or wherever, or at the end of the season when things are wrapped up, whatever needs to be wrapped up. To make that change again, you're going Italian for Italian, obviously. Right now, should that be the focus? Doing the goalkeeping situation again when we don't even have a full working we don't have a board, we don't have a management. Now let me rephrase it: we don't have a management, and we're thinking about changing the goalkeeper again. And that's one of the first pieces of news that comes out basically this summer. Other than retaining certain players we have on loan. That's the first kind of piece of news that comes out. And for me, looking at what I've looked last season, I'm like, man, we should be looking at boosting that midfield, that back line, that attack, especially that back line, that attack. That should be the main. Those are the reports I want to read every single day right now. I don't want to really read about the goalkeeping situation because later down the day, there's also news about Perin. And I'm like, what is this? Like National Goalkeeping Day? Like it's Goalkeeper Day. It's all news about goalkeepers. So that part was funny. The other part, there are issues with the contract with PSG. There's no agreement. I'll be stunned if PSG do not come to an agreement with Donnarumma. An agreement we will find with Donnarumma. So I don't think it's a contract length agreement. I think it's about wages because he's on high wages. Mino Raiola fix that, and I don't think PSG want to put another the goalkeeper on those type of wages. Now, if he potentially wants to leave because he's not getting that money from PSG, Rabiot also have an absolute stinker. He gave away a pen. He's absolutely rubbish, but he talked smack a couple of days ago. It's unbelievable. But if PSG do not want to give him that money, and he's like, well, I want that money. Are we going to give him that money? That's also a thing I was looking at. I'm like, are we going to pay ridiculous wages for a goalkeeper, which is not needed? Like, let's be honest. Is Donnarumma better than Di Gregorio? Yes. Is Di Gregorio rubbish? No, I think he's fantastic, actually. I really do. I really do think he's fantastic. And he's on cheap wages as well. He's young. I mean, yes, Donnarumma is number one, and you aim as a Juve, you aim to have the number one Italian players. I get it, but I mean, I would like if Perin was our number 9 and Perin was good. I was like, yeah, do it. That it's worth it. But with Di Gregorio, after last season, I'm like, I don't know. Like I kind of feel for him as well. Listening to this news, it's actually confusing. It's not really needed. I was actually baffled. I was actually baffled. Do I think he wants to come to you? I think he wants to come back to Italy if PSG, like he won everything what he could win basically with PSG. Maybe he's open to a new thing. But my mindset is like, why would PSG entertain letting him go? Why would PSG entertain give me 1 second because somebody's calling me and it's not really working. Wait. Okay, sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, PSG. Why would they break that up? Who are PSG gonna sign? Like, there's so many question marks with it. But according to Giovanni Albanese, it's not just fake news. It's just an idea. It's something serious the club is considering doing. And I mean, do I think Donnarumma? Let me also say this about Donnarumma. The back end of this season, so January until the end of the Champions League final, he has been insanely good. But the years before that, let's not forget, even PSG fans were frustrated. In the air, he was making mistakes. He was just making mistakes, kicking the ball into feet on the big stage in Champions League. Remember last season, the season before that, they were struggling. Donnarumma wasn't. It was extreme hot and extreme cold throughout. Those seasons he was there. So you also need to keep that in mind. It's not what we've seen the last part of this season from Donnarumma. It's not been like that always at PSG. We also need to keep that in mind, and this is not me saying he's a poor goalkeeper. He's not, he's not. But to just sit back and be like, should we really do that? Pay a transfer fee for Donnarumma, pay the probably excessive wages when we're kind of set for it. That was a plan last season with Donnarumma, with Di Gregorio. And now we're sitting here and we're like, we're going to need to do it all over again, shifting the focus from what we actually need. I don't know. It feels a bit off for me, in my opinion. Keep hitting the like buttons. Let me read out a few of your comments. Let me see. Um, Oops. Yeah. A definite yes for Donnarumma. Every number one goalkeeper of Italy deserves to be a Juve. He will be the heir of Dinosaur, Peruzzi, and Buffon. I know a lot of people do think about that, and probably the club as well. If we can land Donnarumma, it will be a great mercado, but you'll have to let go of Perin and Di Gregorio. Well, Di Gregorio is obviously not going to be the number two, so he is gone, and I wouldn't cry if Perin leaves. I just don't like him. I don't. MP. Oh my God, France is getting smoked. It's 4-0. Yeah. Ain't happening. Another wishful thinking on our part. Are you talking about the club or us as fans? Because I'm cool with it. I'm actually cool with it. To be honest. Who's gonna make the transfers? You would think Masara. I think you mean Masara with FM, because he's going to be the sporting director, and Komoli is the general director. So you're assuming the sporting director is going to make the signings, but we don't have one right now. So that the news of Donnarumma and Doi and Jokeres and Retigi, they don't really make sense right now because we don't really have a sporting director, but this might be a thing that is just at the club and they know Donnarumma is potentially up for grabs and everybody just agrees no matter who the sporting director is. That's the idea of the club, Italian number ones, and we go from there. So that could be the case, but it's going to be Masara if it's going to be Masara. Obviously goalkeeping is not the issue. Solve the other spots first. I agree with that. We should have the key signings already. At least one striker and center back. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about that. I'm actually not gonna lie. I know it's early, but I'm worried about the structure of the club and us being very late for those type of deals. I really like Di Gregorio, but you have a chance to get Gigio, do it in my opinion. A lot of people would agree with you. They would. This is what's gonna happen. Like always, Donna's gonna use us for a new contract. Meanwhile, we sell Di Gregorio and end up with someone worse. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not selling Di Gregorio if you don't get Gigio. That's definitely not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Gigio will be a massive improvement. Look at Sommer in the Champions League final. At 3 goals, he had bad positioning, bad timing on cutting the angle, conceded a goal in the near post. Now, I wouldn't say massive because let's say we had Donnarumma last season. Would we have wrapped up top 4 quicker? I don't think so, because Di Gregorio saved our asses so many times in games that we scraped the point or won the game and etc. So I don't see that as a massive up. Like, I mean, even on Di Gregorio, I don't think it's massive. It is an upgrade, but it's not massive in my opinion. Like massive would be, I don't know, massive would be you're selling Vlahovic and you're getting Mbappe. Like that would be massive, or Erling Haaland. That would be massive. That's how I would describe massive. So let's see. He won everything with PSG, so maybe he wants a new challenge. And what better than in Italy as number one at Juve? I don't think it's all about wages. Maybe you're correct, but according to reports, it is wages. Like the reports are suggesting wages. How will Juve pull that off? He's going to be expensive. That's also a thing. I don't know how long his contract is. Somebody needs to look it up for me really quickly. Is it 2027 that the contract is? Somebody look that up for me, please. I think we need to focus on bigger problem. Next sporting director, coaches say or go, players, etc. I 100% agree with you. What about Tonozzi? He's going to Arsenal. He's going to join Arsenal. Yeah. France are just poor. I agree now. Massive. Dean Huijsen is upping his value. Yeah, he's I mean, Jesus. I have the game on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not focusing on the game really. But I heard the commentator speak on Dean Huijsen, and well, yeah, it's painful. I'm not gonna lie. It's really, really painful to hear. 26. Okay, so if the contract, I didn't know that. I thought it was legit 27. So 26. That kind of changes a lot. How much do you think PSG would ask for Donnarumma, 1 year left on his contract. And keep in mind, PSG were okay to let Mbappe leave on a free rather than take the money. That's that's what PSG can do. That's the money they have and the power they have. They can tell Donnarumma, well, then you're leaving on a free if we're not getting enough money or we cannot replace you. You need to keep that in mind. 30, 64, that's very specific, Dominic. Is there some math behind it? 64? That's very specific. So tell me if there's some math behind it. 30, 40, what's your 40 million? So around 40 million, I think people, let's say 45 million. According to reports as well, Di Gregorio would be receiving offers from, or Juve will be receiving offers for Di Gregorio from the Premier League up to 35, 40 million as well. Now, do you believe it or not? I leave that up to you. But I mean, I've seen Chelsea pay 70 for Kepa from Bilbao, back in the day. So who knows? Donnarumma ain't going nowhere. Why leave a club that's going to dominate Europe for the next 10 years? I don't think they're going to dominate Europe for the next 10 years, but I see your point. That's what I said early on in the show. Why would he actually really be leaving? It feels weird. It feels off. It doesn't feel like something that's needed for any party right now. For PSG, for Donnarumma and Juve. Like PSG, like he just won the Champions League. Why would you leave PSG? And being PSG, he kind of won you the Champions League throughout that tournament as well. Why would you be willing to part ways? And from Juve, you have so many issues, and Di Gregorio helped you to get top 4. Why would you do that as well? Albanese said he has interest from the Premier League. And Italy, but forget about Italy. Maybe Milan if they sell Mignon again. Like Chelsea are signing Mignon. That's insane. Like he's poor. He's not a good goalkeeper. He makes too many mistakes. But maybe Milan comes in for Di Gregorio as well. Growing up an Inter fan, signing for Juve, ending up at Milan. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. But yeah, that's a story. Do you think we should be doing it? Let's see. It's still early, but according to Giovanni Albanese, it's not really early. Like it's something concrete the club is working on. It's not just it's an idea, but forget about it. We thought about it for a second. It's something apparently very, very real. So let's see. I like your sorry. I like your take on Tudor, but there's no top coach available at the moment. I agree that top coach, yeah, okay. I agree. Like my point was, it feels a bit off. Just look at the league right now. Like Inter are signing Kivu. Like how many? Like he has 1 year in at the top flight football and coaching, and maybe it's a slam dunk again from Pepe Marotta. But I mean, that was also not the first choice for Inter, so they missed out. And I just feel kind of left behind because right now Conte is just dancing in the streets of Naples. He's gonna dominate for a couple of seasons at this rate. It's gonna happen because we are falling behind. We are already behind, and the moves we're making do not suggest we're trying to close that gap anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, it is really frustrating in my opinion when you look at how things are kind of evolving in Serie A, and I feel like we're just kind of being left behind in a moment where we should be pushing to get up there again. Oh no, I thought it was an update. Is there an update? Okay, sorry. Assign Tudor go for Pep next year. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Klopp is not coming. He retired. He made that abundantly clear. Is it official with Inter getting Chivu? I don't think it's a good move on their part, though. But it's basically almost official. I saw a video before I went live that they were meeting to close that deal. So it's probably going to be official, in the next days. Um, yes, we're left behind. All the team signing coaches, and we don't even give clarity to the guy we have right now. Yeah, that's also a very frustrating part. That's the most frustrating part as well. I somehow think the Sham time at France is over. Well, it should have been over quite some time ago. But yeah, okay. That's that part of the news. That's the big portion of today's news. Gigio Donnarumma and the Perin one, which I talked really quickly because the Perin one came in very late, a couple of hours ago. Bologna are looking to get Perin, and if I will be massively okay with moving on Perin. And people know what I think about Perin. I don't like Perin as the way like he conducts himself, on social media with Mota left, with all the things, and I just don't like that. That's trying to be a leader in front of the camera rather than, I think, actually being one. But Bologna are potentially interested in Perin. Now, if this thing is true, it changes a lot. It does changes a lot because we need money. We need money, and I believe like why like I do not understand why Perin is willingly. Yes, he gets 2.5 million, but he will get that at Bologna or any other club, even at a club like Genoa. He will get that. I don't understand how he's happy to sit on the bench. Yes, at Juve, but not a winning. Like it's not you're sitting on the bench, but you're winning stuff. You're just sitting on the bench. That's it. We are poor. We have been poor for a couple of seasons, and you're just being on the bench, looking at how poor we have been. I don't get it. I'm just waiting for the moment he's like, I actually want to leave again, and that would make more sense, So let's see if Bologna are gonna make a move for him this summer, but that potentially could be a thing, him leaving again. Oh my God, Mignon is absolutely rubbish. Like, oh, he is. That's Mignon, right? Because I've not been focusing on the game, like I said. Is that Mignon? Yeah, it's Mignon. How are Chelsea trying to sign Mignon? Oh my God. Um, that's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. 5-1. Yeah. Is a rumor true with Edoy from Bologna? Well, there's a report out there that Tudor asked the club to sign Ndoye, but he's also quoted at around 40 million euros. Is he worth 40 million euros? I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's good, but 40 million euros, I mean, I think that's a big stretch. I'm not going to lie. Is a Berardi rumor true? No, kill me. I'm not going to talk about Berardi on this channel. I'm not going to do it. How is France still playing with Rabiot? Well, nobody knows. Absolutely nobody knows. Oh man, Mignon is so bad. How do you not really save that? Rabiot was playing and Thuram is sitting at home. Good for us, no injury, but yeah, how is Thuram not being called up over players like Rabiot? Absolutely madness. Tonali rumors alive still? No, absolutely buried. He killed the rumors off today, Tonali, because he gave an interview where he said that I thought about going back to Italy because I was kind of struggling to adapt, but now I'm adapting, or I have adapted. I have a lot of friends here, and I'm very, very happy to play for this club, and I want to repay them. So he's not going to leave. And Newcastle do not need to sell, and Newcastle are not willing to sell. And if they're going to sell, we will not be able to afford it. So it's not alive. It's not alive. And keep hitting the like button, people. The target is 50 likes. We should be easily reaching that. Excuse me. I don't want Berardi either. However, it would be funny just to get the reaction from you. And no, even if that news is out there, I would feel like I'm actually gonna act like the news is not out there. Like I don't want to hear any Berardi links anymore. Like that's probably one of the worst things I've done on this channel. Talk about Berardi every single season. It's up there with Milinkovic Savic. Okay, we talked about the biggest portion of today's news. Other type of news that came out today were more linked to um, players. And now Mirko Di Natale is kind of reporting the same. Kalulu played as a right back. He came off right now and I checked the lineup as a right back. That's crazy. Talking about Kalulu, he's been officially announced as a Juve player. So we're gonna pay Milan the money they want for Kalulu, and that's a player. Actually, as he played as a right back, then he was poor. I've not watched it, but I've seen goals come through that side and some things. Yeah, then he must have had a very poor game as well. But yeah, in other news, not so many things. Vega is gone. He's the only player actually gone. Mirko Di Natale said it's still not really done, but it's very likely that he's not coming to us with the World Cup, and other reports are saying even past the World Cup, we're not trying to sell Renato Vega because he's too expensive. Now, from all the loanies we have, so being that Colomani, Vega, and Conceicao, he's a player I would prefer keeping, out of the three. And he will end up being the player we will absolutely not keep. For Conceicao, the update is that we have him for the Club World Cup, and we are trying to get Porto to lower the 30 million demand. Now, I don't think Porto are going to lower that because I believe a Premier League club will come in, especially now with the nation. You know how these things go with the Nations League and stuff like that. I think a Premier League club will pay 30 million euros to get in Conceicao. Will Conceicao accept that, or will Conceicao tell Porto, I want to stay at Juve? There are rumors that he was not happy at Juve, that he wanted to leave. Now, yesterday post-game, he said, let's wait and see. We will see what will happen once this is over, basically. But, I mean, Conceicao is, for me, it's not a tricky one. 40 million euros in total for Conceicao, I think that's way too much. He's way too inconsistent to be paying a total of 40 million euros. That's how I'm looking at it. If you watched him against Germany, the goal he scores, quality, and he scored a couple of those for us, cutting in and all those things, but he had a lot of space. When he has space, he can be that player. When he don't have a lot of space, which he didn't have a lot of times last season, it's frustrating. He runs into people, he overhits the ball, he makes the wrong decisions, he tries to dribble too much, he cuts back way too much, opportunity's gone. It feels like he just loses sight of the entire situation. And for me, that's extremely frustrating, especially when you play teams that sit back, sit with a deep block, try to defend. He's not really there to break those teams open. And for me, that's just frustrating to watch. Now, I've seen reports suggesting, but he can play potentially as a number 10 behind the strikers. He cannot. Like, out of all the positions on the field, I think nobody wants to see Conceicao play behind the strikers, trying to do the 1-2s, try to break open a defense, play through pass. That's the absolute last place I think anyone wants to see Conceicao play. And on top of that, remember remember the quotes from Tudor when it came to Conceicao, and Conceicao, putting the emoji on or like the picture and what you will remember my name quote. And like, I don't think the relationship with Tudor is that fantastic as well to suggest that we should be paying 40 million euros for him, to be honest. 10 we paid 30 right now. I mean, all those things for me are kind of off-putting. They're off-putting, in my opinion. Now, what are the other options? Are there cheaper options? I don't know. Are there better options? Yeah. Are they cheaper? No. But I mean, you want to improve the squad, right? Or do you want to go cheap on every single position? Then just stay the way you are and do not do a summer transfer window and just prep with this group of players if you don't want to improve. So we always need to try to improve, and I think we can with a player like Conceicao, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So that's one of the updates as well. Other than that, what other things that I wrote down? Yeah, Juve don't want to sell Cambiasso, especially not to Milan. But I mean that kind of that's logical. I think like it's not shocking news or breaking news that we were willing to sell him to to Milan, so I think that's just normal. Um, yeah, I wrote nothing else down. Nothing special. Just the usual, um, just the usual kind of reports. Nothing really uh, special, to be honest. Yeah, sorry. Are people putting? My chat is not loading. Give me. Okay, now it's loading. If we will sign Florentino Lewis instead of Tonali. I don't know anything about Florentino Lewis, so I don't know. It's only Giovanni Albanese who was speaking about it. I don't know anything about it, to be honest. If you go off Benfica fans, it's not bad, but it's also not wow. I don't think so. I'd swap Douglas and cash for Tonali. I think a lot of people do, but I don't think obviously Newcastle will do that. If we can get Tonali one night, wait, what? If we can get Tonali, why not go for Isaac? My point is we should stop talking about unrealistic targets. I don't get it. If we can get to I think we already have a better player in Bangula. Than who? Than Conceicao? That's a hot take. I don't think a lot of people are gonna like what you just said. Also, Mbangula is on the transfer market. Bournemouth are interested. Mainz are interested. I saw another German team who were interested, and I also saw a link to Crystal Palace. But we're gonna sell Mbangula. He didn't play with Tudor. I don't think he got a single minute with Tudor, to be honest. Or did he get like 5 minutes in his first game or his second game? So obviously Tudor does not like Mbangula. And at that point, I like Mbangula in having him in the squad. But if you're not going to play him, then what's the point? It's like Atsic, If you're not going to play him, then what's the point? What is really the point, Why not go for Nico Williams? Well, one, he's not jumping to leave Bilbao, and you know how it is with players born in that region. That's one. And two, I don't know if you watch a lot of Bilbao. Nico Williams for Spain is not the Nico Williams for Bilbao, in my opinion. When I watch him for Bilbao, he's not as electric as he is, playing for Spain, and the price tag as well. Let me see. Wolvermade. I've seen people, also Nino, who's on the channel from time to time, talk about it. That's a Stuttgart striker. Should I call it? Yeah, let me call it a striker. I don't really have a feeling he plays as a striker, if I'm being completely honest. But let's call him a striker. He had a fantastic season. Let me look it up. I think he scored like. Did he got 15 goals this season or something? Let me see. All competitions, 17 goals and 3 assists. So a good season. I've not watched enough, to say go for him. I don't even know how much Stuttgart want for him, to be honest. I have no idea how much money Stuttgart will be asking for him. So yeah, I mean, yeah. They lost a lot of players as well, right? They lost a lot of players. Let me see. We should try to get Turkey for 25, but he's going to City for close to 40 million, so that's not possible. But we should have gone for him, but he's going to City and it's going to be close to 35, 40 million euros. So 25 was never an option as well. Good point. How do you feel about Berardi? Oh my God, no, not doing this. No Berardi. I don't understand why there's no money, but in the winter you were willing to pay 70 for Araujo. I didn't believe that in the summer. If you were on the channel at the time, I was like, there's no way. It was 50. I think Barca wanted 70. Thank God we didn't do that. I think he's injured again. And when he's not injured and he played the season, he was poor. That was insane. That would have been worse than paying what we did for Kelly, because his wages will be ridiculous. And yeah, no. Um, I would like to see continuity in our lineup and coach. I want to see the same players start every week and only see we are McKennie against weak teams. We should avoid signing big money players. Well, we play every 3 days, so we're not going to see the same team every single week. But I agree, there should be a fixed team, and certain players shouldn't be playing as the fixed ones, basically. Ramos from PSG had 18 goal off the bench, yeah, but they also won 50 million euros. So are we going to pay that for Ramos? Probably not. Nor should we be paying that, for quote unquote a bench player. He's not worth 50 million. They're asking 50 because they paid like 70, 80 million for him, like they did with Colomani and etc. That's why the price is so high. But yeah, we shouldn't be paying. And Colomani is playing, I see. We shouldn't be paying for that. We shouldn't be paying 50 million euros for Ramos from PSG. But 18 goals from the bench, that's good. Yes, it's PSG and they dominate in the league, but still, it's good. Now, Keane got, how many goals that Keane got at PSG? Was it 20? It came back and he didn't score for over a year with us. So, and then he goes to Fiorentina and he does well. So yeah, maybe it depends from team to team, but in general, I mean, it is a big risk. It is a big risk. Are we getting any players before the Club World Cup? Yes, Rugani and Kostic. You're getting Rugani and Kostic for the Club World Cup. So be excited. 10 days from now, we are probably going to see Kostic get some minutes for some weird, odd reason. But yeah, we're not signing anyone before the Club World Cup. We don't like. I think it will be a success if we have a sporting director before the Club World Cup. I'm not gonna lie. So no, and it is frustrating because that's a chance to have a mini preseason before the actual preseason. Whoever you bring in, he can already adapt to the team. Take time off, come back, but he at least has been with the team for 2 weeks, trained with the team, played some minutes, know what Tudor wants, know how certain players play, know the idea already, and he can sit for it on 2 weeks and then come back. It would be an advantage, but right now all of this is turning out to be a very negative thing for us, because we will have a Club World Cup, 2 weeks of holidays, and then prep, and then the season kicks off immediately. Whilst Milan are not playing the Club World Cup, Napoli are not playing the Club World Cup, Roma are not playing the Club World Cup. They have time to prep way before us. And from the get-go with the new players as well. People, were 1 like away from the 50 like target. So whoever is in here and didn't like the video, like it. I would appreciate it very much because I'm going to wrap this one up. There's not really much news. I wanted to talk about Donnarumma. I talked about Donnarumma. I think that's the most important thing. If there is some other news, I will go live tomorrow. I will freestyle it. But yeah, it doesn't feel like something's really popping off. It's just waiting who is going to be the sporting director. That's and it's frustrating. As a fan, going into the summer in the Club World Cup, I actually do not want to talk about who the hell is going to be the sporting director. But that's the case. So transfer news, I think until the Club World Cup is actually kicking off, and it sounds weird, there will be nothing. During the Club World Cup, we will get legit news, in my opinion. Up to that point, 10 days from now, I don't think there will be anything really legit coming up. Savona extension, apparently that's happening until 29 plus 1, I've seen. But it's apparently happening. We're going to keep Savona. But we will talk about the backline. Next week, I will do the live show Keep, Sell, or Loan. Because a lot of people have asked for it. It's prepped, but it wasn't the moment this week. Hopefully we get a sporting director this week, and then doing that video would make more sense. I was not doing the video because I was like, who the hell is going to be the coach? Is it going to be Conte? Is it going to Gasperini? Like, keeping selling players varies depending on your coach, So now with Tudor, it will make more sense to do that video. I'm going to do it next week. Other than that, I'm going to wrap this one up, people. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and stay tuned for tomorrow, a daily. And if there's some breaking news, I will join with a live show. When is Kanan coming back? It's difficult, but he will be back sometime this summer. It will happen. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's not that easy with time zones and work. But yeah, people, thanks for watching. Speak to you guys.